The Galactic Academy cafeteria fell silent as Crixtal and his gang surrounded the human girl's table. She sat alone, as always, quietly eating something the other students found disturbing: actual animal protein, cooked over fire. Barbaric. Emma Hayes was 17 standard years old and the first human accepted into the Academy's xenobiology program. She was small by most species standards, barely 1.6 meters tall, with an unassuming frame that made her look almost fragile. She kept her head down, studied hard, and never caused trouble, which made her the perfect target. "Look at the Deathworlder," Crixtal clicked, his mandibles spreading in what passed for a grin among the Threshen species. He was twice her size, with 4 arms ending in razor-sharp claws. His exoskeleton could deflect plasma rounds. Eating dead things. Disgusting. Emma didn't look up. She simply continued cutting her steak. "I'm talking to you, primitive." Crixtal slammed one of his clawed hands on the table. Students from a dozen species watched, some with concern, most with morbid curiosity. Humans were still new to the galactic community. No one knew quite what they were capable of, except the rumors. The dark, whispered rumors about Earth. Still, Emma said nothing. She took a sip of water, unfiltered water that would give most species severe illness. "What's wrong?" Crixtal leaned closer, his breath hot against her face. "Too scared to even speak? Your whole species should have stayed on that nightmare planet. Nothing but predators, diseases, and—" Emma's hand moved. It happened so fast that most students didn't even see it. One moment, Crixtal was mid-sentence. The next, Emma's left hand had shot out, grabbed the side of his head, and twisted with a single, precise motion. There was a sharp crack that echoed through the cafeteria. Crixtal collapsed, his exoskeleton clattering against the floor. Not dead. Humans were forbidden from lethal force, but his neck joint was dislocated, his nervous system temporarily disconnected. He'd live, but he wouldn't be walking for weeks. Emma hadn't stood up, hadn't even put down her fork. She'd neutralized a creature twice her size without leaving her seat. The cafeteria erupted into chaos. Students scrambled back. Some species began their equivalent of screaming. The remaining members of Crixtal's gang froze, suddenly remembering every horror story they'd heard about Earth. A planet where everything was trying to kill you. Where the dominant species had climbed to the top of the food chain, not through strength or armor, but through endurance, intelligence, and the ability to kill with their bare hands. A world with gravity so strong it would crush most species. An atmosphere so corrosive it would burn their lungs. Pathogens so aggressive that human children build immunity by literally eating dirt. Emma finally looked up. Her eyes, binocular predator eyes designed for tracking prey, locked onto each of Crixtal's friends in turn. Her voice was quiet, almost gentle. "I sat through 3 weeks of insults. I ignored the Deathworlder comments, the primitive jokes, the way you'd knock my data pad off tables." She took another bite of her steak, chewed, swallowed. "I have incredible patience. We evolved it. Had to when hunting prey for days across open plains." She gestured at Crixtal's unconscious form without looking at it. "But patience isn't weakness. It's a choice." Her expression remained calm, almost friendly. "On Earth, we have a saying, don't mistake kindness for weakness. I chose to be kind. I chose to ignore you. But you kept pushing." One of the gang members, a floating gas being named Vorthos, pulsed nervously. You could have killed him." Emma nodded slowly. "Yes, easily. Do you know what the grip strength of an average human is? About 400 newtons. I'm not average. I grew up in Earth's 1G environment. I could have crushed his skull like you pop a juice pod." She stood up finally, and despite her small size, every alien in the vicinity stepped back. "But I didn't. Because unlike what you all seem to think, humans aren't monsters." She picked up her tray and walked toward the disposal unit. The crowd parted like she was carrying a live explosive. At the entrance, she turned back one last time. "But we're not prey, either. Remember that." Station security arrived 2 minutes later to find Crixtal still unconscious in a cafeteria full of students who'd learned a valuable lesson. On Earth, even the smallest predators were still predators. And humans have been the apex for 200,000 years. They didn't survive by being the strongest. They survived by being smart enough to look weak until the moment they weren't.